8 women who ruled the Wild West. 1. Annie Oakley. Annie was the fastest sharpshooter in the West. At 15, she won a shooting contest against Frank Butler. He later became her husband. The couple eventually joined Buffalo Bill's Wild West show. One of Oakley's tricks was shooting the lit end of a cigarette. Kaiser Wilhelm II invited her to try. She shot the cigarette out of his mouth. 2. Calamity Jane. Calamity Jane was the most adventurous woman in the West. She was a frontierswoman and storyteller. She cursed and wore men's attire. As a child, Jane almost died from smallpox, but she survived, developing immunity. Years later, a smallpox outbreak hit Deadwood. Jane had no nursing skills. Nevertheless, she took 8 stricken miners under her wing. Jane was declared a perfect angel sent from heaven. 3. Belle Starr. Belle was one of the most infamous outlaws. She was a crackshot who always carried 2 pistols. She also rode side saddle and wore black velvet. Belle eventually married Sam Starr of the Cherokee. She died after being shot in an ambush. Her murder remains unsolved to this day. 4. Pearl Hart. Hart was a Canadian outlaw. She committed one of the last recorded stagecoach robberies in Arizona. Hart teamed up with a guy named Joe Boot. The two decided to rob a stagecoach together. The pair stole an equivalent of $12,000 in today's money. They were quickly caught and sent to jail. Hart became the only female inmate at Yuma Territorial Prison. She was so popular that reporters flocked to interview her. After her release, she briefly worked in Buffalo Bill's show under an alias. 5. Eleanor Diont. Diont was nicknamed Madame Mustache. She was a famous gambler during the California Gold Rush. Diont was an itinerant card player. She earned enough money to open her own gambling parlor. No women were allowed except herself. She later opened up the equally popular Dimont's Place. When the gold dried up, Diont left. 6. Lottie Dino. Lottie Dino was another notorious gambler. She was known for her poker skills around Texas. She married a fellow gambler, Frank Thurmond. The couple moved to San Antonio. She gained serious notoriety for her skills. Lottie also associated with Doc Holliday. She inspired the character of Miss Kitty Russell on Gunsmoke. 7. Mary Fields. Fields was known as Stagecoach Mary. She was born into slavery and freed after the Civil War. She would go on to work at convents in Ohio and Montana. Mary became notorious for drinking, smoking, and toting guns. In 1895, she became the first black female star route mail carrier. Mary was fearless in the face of stagecoach thieves. She once fought off a pack of wild wolves with a rifle. 8. Rose Dunn. Rose's brothers were notorious bounty hunters. She grew up learning to rope and ride from them. She came to be known as Rose of Cimarron. Rose fell in love with George Bitter Creek Newcomb. He rode with the Wild Bunch. Rose was even involved in a shootout with U.S. Marshals. She helped nurse the gang members back to health. Eventually, she settled down and left her outlaw life.